My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able.
Hi, welcome to Inspired Blessings with Jean Marie Prince. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And today, my guest is Chris Wales, and basically, he is the Long Island Community Liaison for the Relations for John Birch Society. So, what is John Birch Society? Well, we're going to ask Chris and find out. So, thank you so much, Chris, for joining me. I appreciate this, what John Birch does, as well as how important our Constitution is. So, thank you for joining.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me again. I really enjoyed the first time, and I'm glad to be back. And yes, the John Birch Society is needed more than ever right now. As you can see, what's going on in Washington is kind of dysfunctional, and it's dysfunctional because they're not following the Constitution. So what's happening is, now that they have a Speaker of the House, if you look at his credentials, he seems like he's leans more for the following the Constitution. And we have a great service provided at our sister website, the New American Magazine, that you can actually see their voting records under the Freedom Index report.
Right. So we're going to actually go over, I'm going to show how the website and how people, who want to vote and they just have no idea, is this politician more on the Democratic side, the Republican side, or is he a rhino? And this way you can be able to see exactly how they vote. So actually, why don't I just start with that then?
Sure.
Basically, so the website you said is the New American, right, .com or something like that?
Yes, that's correct. The newamerican.com. And you have two ways of finding it. You could find it through the traditional menu drop down with those three little bars on the left-hand side. And otherwise, you can go right to the index, which is in the middle of the screen. If you read left to right, it should say the Freedom Index about halfway in. And you click on that. And then you scroll down a little bit, and it can tell you, how to look up your representative. So you can even go, back. It doesn't have to be the current year, but you could even check all their voting records. But if you scroll down a little bit more, I think it says to type in your zip code or your state.
Show me. So Chris, why don't we? So let's say, for instance, I want to check to see in my state. So what do I click onto my state?
Yes. So you bring the cursor up and go on to New York.
So I'm in New York.
Yeah. So on the map, you're going to click on New York. So, and it should change the screen to type in your zip code. So go a little bit farther up with your cursor on the map and actually click on the state of New York.
I did do that. I did, and now it shows me New York legislators.
Okay. Well, I only see the map part right now. So
really?
Did it come up? Can you scroll to where you actually are on the website so I can see it?
Oh, I guess then you know what? Do I have to? Let me see. I guess I have to go to the individual links. Okay, that's okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to presenting here, and I'm going to share the screen, and in which then I guess I'll have to go to the next screen, which is the Freedom Index, which we did. I just did that, so that's not the one.
Yeah.
But hold on. So what I'm going to do, so when I clicked on the Freedom Index, then what it's going to do is take me to the next page, which was here. When I clicked on New York, this is what it came up with. Can you see that?
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like it gave you a summary of everybody that's in New York, and then in the choices above it, if you want to sort quicker in those individual boxes, you could put some more specific information. But otherwise, yeah, see those
All
boxes
right.
right up there?
Yeah.
So
So give me. Okay. So now I'm going to go to Jill. Let me look at her picture.
yeah, so
Let's see here. All right. You know what? I'll just click on anybody. Right now, Melissa Miller. Let's see what Melissa Miller. Okay.
Right. So then it would show you on what district she's in. And then if you scroll down a little bit, it would show you individual voting choices that she made and whether or not they were compatible with the Constitution or not. So she's only got 2 green votes, which means that she did vote the right way to follow the Constitution. And she's got a few more red votes. So
Right.
her percentage of following the Constitution was listed at the top there. So whatever percentage you see there, and this person has probably even a lower percentage of following the Constitution because she has a lot of red votes.
I was going to say, so when you see the red tabs, and then you know the fact that they're not voting like the Constitution.
Yeah, they're not following the Constitution, or they didn't, take the best course of action to make the vote count, to not expand government or, spending money incorrectly. So these legislatures get a vote for how they're doing.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, so this one actually, Edward Rath, he basically only has 1 red, which is good. So his cumulative should be good. So
that's correct.
80%.
Yes. So you would, next time he comes up for election, you would want to make sure that you vote for him because he's doing a good job and you want to keep him in there.
Right.
So you don't need term limits. You just need information to find out whether or not the guy is worth keeping or girl is worth keeping in office. And then that's how you enact term limits. If they're doing a bad job, you vote them out. And if they're doing a good job, you continue with them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this page is very valuable, especially for a person who really doesn't know much about the candidates, but at least you can be able to see, how they are voting.
Yes, that's correct. And if you go to Jerry Nadler, who we know is, not the best guy to have in office, you can see his voting record. Or you can see Steve Rhodes. He's in New York. And, you can even look into some of the Long Island people. We have Leota out here. We have D'Esposito.
Yeah, I'm looking for Nadler on here, though. It should be in alphabetical order, right?
It should be. So what letter are you up to?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the ends. There's the M's, and then it goes to N.
Should be NA.
I don't see him.
Okay, well, maybe when they redid the districts, he got voted out, or he lost his district. So then look for Leota, Lalota.
I don't see it. I'm in the K's. I'm looking at the L's. I don't see. Yeah, I don't see Leota.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's all right. But overall, you can just take the time and put in names that you want to look up, and you'll get the breakdown of their scorecard. So this is a very valuable tool, and it comes out twice a year. Every 6 months, we do a review of their voting. So it's also included in the New American Magazine that you get in print. If you're a member of the John Birch Society, you get the New American Magazine every 2 weeks. So you definitely get the voting record of your senators and congressmen, every 2 weeks, every 6 months when you get your New American Magazine. So it's a quick way to keep yourself up to date on what was done. And a lot of things that they passed just recently were not constitutional, but they did it anyway. So they they spent
They
money
don't
on
follow.
Ukraine.
Yeah, they don't
It's,
follow the rules.
what's
Well,
that?
I said they just don't follow the rules. They should be in jail. But anyway,
Yes.
what I was going to say, thank goodness, it seems like Mike Johnson seems like a good House Speaker. He seems to possibly, hopefully, he'll be following more of the Constitution.
Yes, I believe he was from Tennessee.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he seems like he is leaning more towards the constitutional thinking. But you have to be careful because I'm almost positive he was on record saying that he wants a convention of the states called to propose amendments to change the Constitution. So if that is true,
Uh,
that is very dangerous because
yeah,
no one should be calling for a convention of the states.
no.
So the best way to change the Constitution is by amendments, which we have 26 of them,
Hmm.
and not a convention. So the
Hmm.
convention was called when they wanted to change the Articles of Confederacy, and look what happened there. They didn't change the Articles of Confederacy. They gave us a whole new Constitution, and thank goodness those people were as smart and as moral men as they were, and they really gave us quite a unique system of government as a constitutional republic.
Hmm.
So that could happen again if you call a Constitution Convention. They say they're just going to stick to one or two amendments, but quite frankly, they could do what they was done as a precedent in the first Constitutional Convention and throw the whole thing out and give us something completely different. So you could lose the Second Amendment rights. They could enshrine abortion rights in the new Constitution. They could tell us, well, you don't have freedom of speech. You only can talk about these things. So, having a constitutional convention at this point with the group of people we have in politics is very dangerous, and we should not go down that route, especially if the new speaker is advocating for it. He is totally wrong in that case. But right
Right.
now, he seems to be, very constitutional minded. So I just want to I just hope he stays the course.
Yeah. See, I'm wearing my flag today.
Yes, very nice.
That's
Very
right.
nice.
Because I'm a patriot. I was adopted when I was 5 years old, and lived here since I was five. And I'm just blessed, that to be living in America. And we want to kind of keep America the way it was when I was recalling, from when I was young, as a child. But then
Well,
we,
you also went through the citizenship process,
yes, 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 yes,
right? So
yes.
so how do you think the people that spend all that money and time like you did feel about having a wide open border, which the John
Oh,
Birch Society does not advocate for? That is
oh,
not in the Constitution.
yeah. The thing is that you want to vet the people that are coming into your nation because you want to know, are they involved in any kind of terrorist acts? Are they planning on anything evil plots against you and your family, against America? And so you want to know the fact that when they choose to come to America, the fact that they're choosing to follow the ways and the laws of America. To kind of integrate themselves in a good way, to be prosperous, to be even doing their part in helping America to prosper.
Well, you used the right word there. You said assimilate. Right
Hmm.
now, right now, everybody is advocating integration. So
Hmm.
we want to integrate them into society.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean they share the same values as we do,
That's
and
right.
that doesn't mean that they want to have the American dream, and build a life here. To me, integration means that they just know where the bus stops are and the subway stops are, and they have a job that they can send money back to their home country.
Right.
That's integration. But we want assimilation, which has been happening for over 200 years and
Hmm.
made our society strong. And under the rule of law, as a constitutional republic, that's really what's guaranteed the American dream to be fulfilled.
Hmm.
So, today's people are not advocating for any of that stuff. They're just economic migrants. They're people that don't really share our values in many cases, as you can see what's happening in certain sects, in certain cultures, sending the people over here. And I don't know if you saw in the paper, but there was an article saying that Cuba has lost a quarter of its population because they've all come over to America in one way, in one fashion or another, either legally or illegally. So a tiny island of Cuba lost a quarter of its people to come to America. So what is that saying about our immigration laws?
Yeah,
Why are we taking such a large number of people from all these countries that really aren't, in favor of the U.S. Constitution staying intact?
Mm-hmm.
So they're working against it by sending these people over here.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. Usually it's very hard to get out of Cuba. So how do you get 25% of people to leave Cuba when it's very even hard to get out? So is it something of an agenda that's being planned?
Correct. Yeah. So they've loosened the laws on certain people being allowed to leave, and I wouldn't really say that those were the best people here, and we should be vetting them even more, for what we could do. But unfortunately, I hope one of the things that the new Speaker of the House does is actually get Mr. Mayorkas, the Director of Homeland Security, impeached, because he's advocating and facilitating the border being wide open. And then you add in, the non-governmental organizations here that are helping these people get in and stay. Mayor Adams himself said this problem is bankrupting New York City. So why are we letting it continue? So you have to elect the right people at every election at state, local, and federal level to protect your rights and your constitutional republic from serious damage.
Well, he was foolish to, first of all, to make us a sanctuary city.
Correct.
So what did he not think the repercussions? I always tell my grandkids, there's always a consequence to your actions. In this situation, common sense, what would happen.
That's right. And nobody is saying when they get on TV that we should close the border or we should stop for a while or any of this. They just keep asking for more money. So you wouldn't need more money if you actually turned off the faucet.
Right.
Right. So it's a big issue. The John Birch Society does have many articles at the New American about this issue. And look, we're not xenophobes. We're not bigots. We're not any of those things that the left loves to call us. But we're people advocating for common sense and following the Constitution to fix this problem. The Constitution allows the president, as the previous administration did use that power, to, make the border super strong and ask for the right things to be done in the process for vetting. And we can return to that if the current administration would decide to actually do its job, and we can replace, Director Mayorkas with somebody that is willing to take on that responsibility again, instead of just leaving the door wide open like Mayorkas is doing. Well,
with the current administration, instead of being woke, they should be awake. That's True. The problem. They're asleep. They're just they actually, are intending for all this chaos to happen, and there's an agenda behind it. But you know what? God, has a bigger agenda, and I believe He's going to save America. I believe the fact that He's anointed for different individuals for such a time as this to take our nation back from the wicked. So I do believe the fact that He knows all things. He sits on top of the third heaven, looks down at on us, and knows every wickedness that's going on. So the fact that I believe the fact that He's exposing the dark things that are happening, the secret things that are happening, and that is exposing, letting it come to light, the things that are done in darkness. So He knows, every evil plan, and we, and I pray that and say the fact that that the evil plans will not prevail in our nation. That we are going to be a nation of back to the Constitution, that we're going to have godly men and women and politicians back in the 7 mountains of society to take our nation back, and in fact that to give our children a hope and a future, and that we'll be that city on a hill, that will be, God willing, the fact that we'll be the hub to the global billion soul harvest that the prophets have been speaking about. So I'm looking in the fact that it's, people may be thinking like, where is God? But sometimes I think God has to let things play out in order, for the people to wake up, to say like, maybe I've just been too complacent and just been sleeping. Now it's time that I need to awaken to what's happening.
That's correct. And the Constitution, when it was written, the founders said the Constitution works with moral people in charge. So otherwise it doesn't work at all.
Where is
And
Con-
if you think, I'm sorry.
where's the Constitution on this new American, the new American, right? I'm sure the Constitution has to be there.
Yes. We have a six-part series called "The Constitution is the Solution." They're an hour of videos, and it breaks down different aspects of the Constitution. And one of the things that you can click on when you with that happens to be at the JBS website, not the New American. Sorry. So at jbs.org, you can get a constitutional roadmap. It's a 3-page summary of the Constitution that breaks down what the powers of Congress are, what the powers of the presidency, and what the powers of the judicial branch are. And it was written for moral people, and like you said, God is doing many different things to expose who is evil and who is not. And if you think about COVID, one of the best things about COVID was the parents got involved with the kids' education again, because they're doing it at home, and they saw what a horrible agenda that that was being pushed through the schools on many levels. And then if you think about recent turn of events with the persecution of former President Trump, you know that those people are working behind the scenes to take away our rights of free speech and and being protected under the law, because it's being weaponized against a person. So you can see who those bad actors are. And then the third thing, if you think about it, who is always, what organization always seems to pop up quite frequently as the people pulling the strings from behind the scenes is the United Nations. And the John Birch Society has a many-year campaign to get us out of the United Nations, and the Congress can do that. Back in the late 70s, we almost had sorry, I don't know what we almost had enough votes to actually get that passed as an act of Congress to get us out of the United Nations. And again, if you go back to President Trump's administration, he pulled all the funding from the United Nations because he saw what was going on, which was the correct step for him to do. And he also pulled us out of the Paris Accords, which was the United Nations agreement to dive into the climate change scam. And he says, no, we want America to be energy independent. And look what the Biden administration did. They closed down the Keystone Pipeline. They turned off American oil. They stopped drilling. They pulled drilling permits. And you can feel it in your wallet, as well as the fact is that, now we turned over our economic security to regimes that don't want to look out for us. And if they turn off the oil, we're going to be in a big time hurt. So, so God is leading different people to expose all these bad sides of the agenda, which you can see on the John Birch website has many different aspects that we write about to let people know that, if you just take a few minutes to read and visit this website each week, you can certainly expand your educational level of understanding and make the make the connection of how you can help. So that would be talking to your congressman, giving them a phone at their local call at the local office, or write them a letter, which we have many different preset letters on the John Birch website for different action points. You could just take a few minutes to read that. You can even add in your own text if you want to customize it and send it off. We have that all set up to reach your legislatures in one or two little quick clicks. So, you can get involved and make a difference without having to, learn everything from square one. We're there as a nonpartisan educational organization to help you fully understand your rights in the Constitution. And we have great videos that are less than 10 or 11 minutes by qualified people speaking on the subject about, what does this mean if the Supreme Court did this, or what does it mean if the Congress passed this amendment or a bill, and where do they get the authority to spend billions of dollars in the Ukraine? And they don't. They're just not following the Constitution, and it's up to us to hold them accountable for their choices that they make. And frankly, keep them on notice that, the next time they're up for election, if they didn't do their job, you're going to be the person to see that they don't keep it.
Right. Believe it or not, we're just about almost out of time here. So go to the newamerican.com,
Right.
and you
Correct.
get a lot of information. You go there to find out about your politicians and how they vote. And also then you can go to the John Birch Society, but it's jbs.org. And then you can be able to watch all the different videos and things like that.
Yes, and the New American website really is the day-to-day stuff, week-to-week stuff, current articles on what's happening in the news.
Right. So Chris, again, is the Long Island Liaison, and so he has every third Thursday of the month, there's always meetings. So basically you can be able to go to the jbs.org to find out where there might be meetings near you, right? That's how they do it?
Well, yes. Every third Thursday of the month we meet out in Suffolk, and every third Wednesday of the month we meet out in Nassau. So they just click on, call my coordinator, and they'll give you all the right information.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and how important it is to defend the Constitution. So
thank you very much for this time. It was excellent.
No problem. And also, if you're interested in a speaking event, a guest speaker, I'd love to share from my testimony as well as from my book. And keep inspired blessings within arm's reach to help you give you comfort when others are at a loss for words. Thank you, and God bless. To accept and receive Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, please say this prayer. I know that I am a sinner who needs forgiveness. Jesus, please forgive me for all my sins and purify me. I know that you died and rose again to pay for my sins. I need you to be my Lord and Savior for the rest of my life. Thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen. For more information about Jean Marie Prince and Inspired with and Grace Casey is actually my #1 customer, and I happen to to drop it off to her because you have ordered so many cards from me. And she just kept on saying how she loved. I'm like, and I said to her, I would love to get you those commercials.
Well, I said, I'll gladly spread the word, because honestly, you cannot believe how inspirational these cards are. I cannot tell you how much it says God has blessed Jean Marie with a gift that you cannot believe, because these words say what anybody would have in their heart to tell somebody how much God has played a role in putting them together and in putting everything in the real perspective of life.
I have to give God all the glory, because I told you my previous experience is none.
Right.
Okay. I had mentioned to you that in the book that God had blessed me to write, and in which 3 personal relationships were mended.
Wow.
One was between a mother and her daughter, where they weren't talking for 8 or 11 years.
Right.
And that relationship was mended because of the writing, and because the mother had bought a bunch of cards and sent it to her, and then her daughter had contacted her, and now she was part of this, going to the wedding and everything, and and then the daughter was even so much touched by it, and she was a lawyer, that she would take the writings and to other manufacturers and put it on their products, and wanted to do that with my writing. But that was so new to me at that time, and I just didn't want my words to be